Janelle told Kody not to come back to the house after their fight, and I begged her not to tell him to come get his stuff, but she did it anyway.
Janelle keeps telling me she doesn't enjoy our time together. She doesn't want a divorce, but she doesn't want me around. But I want the marriage to thrive for the sake of our children and for our honor. I mean, divorce is embarrassing. I don't know why we're still this culture of like divorce is shameful, but I don't want to break up.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, October 3rd, 2023. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for bearing with me while I'm getting over an illness. And I am here today to talk to you guys about Janelle Brown, because in the episode that was on a couple nights ago, there was discussion about whether or not she thought she could get divorced or if she had grounds for divorce. And Kody shared his opinions on divorce, and Robyn pretended like she told Janelle that she couldn't get divorced or she couldn't kick Kody out. And then there was a preview for next week. And in that preview, Kody revealed that the reason why he won't abandon his wives is because he fears that his wife Robyn will no longer respect him and potentially leave him. So he stays with these women despite not wanting to be with them, and strings them along because he doesn't want to upset her because she wants plural marriage, even though clearly he does not. That's the assumption I'm getting. We also heard that Robyn, in that same episode, at the very end of the episode, basically said that she is starting to feel tricked. So it seems like in some ways the two of them are switching their narratives, and it sounds like Kody's gonna blame Robyn for the reason why he strung these women along, and he's going to blame her for the reason why he didn't let them go and for not abandoning them. And it sounds like she's going to blame him for tricking her into plural marriage. And this is why they say it's going to get messy. And it kind of matches some of the, I guess, gossip that came out in between the seasons about how he has been blaming Robyn for things, saying that she didn't do a good enough job and that their marriage is a mess. And they've both basically admitted that their marriage is a mess at this point. Let's dive into today's topic. Before we do, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell so you can get notified of anytime I go live or new content loads. And if you have something that you'd like to say, make sure to say it, and make sure to share this video with your friends. So Janelle says that she still believes in plural marriage. And somehow, even though they're not a part of their church anymore, which is very weird because the Browns have not been members of the Apostolic United Brethren for several years. And every time a split happens, they keep talking about having to go to the church for a release. But I don't really know, if you're not a member of the church, why you would go to the church for a release. Even though she still believes in it, she doesn't have to go to a church authority to get a release. Not to mention, the church that she would be going to has completely different leadership than when she was there, when Kody and Robyn, when she and Kody got married. And this church is a hot mess. I mean, there's been so much in the news about the leaders, the past leader, the current leader. Like, why would you want to go back to this church knowing who's at this church? Or wait, maybe they already know that. I don't know. But she says that there's been no grounds for asking for a divorce. Check it out.
Fundamental conflict, because we believe that marriages are a covenant that goes beyond death even. There's really been no outright abuse. There's been no neglect. Like, there's been nothing that I could point my finger to and say I deserve a divorce. But I don't want to be married anymore.
Janelle says that she has no grounds for a divorce because there's no obvious signs of neglect or abuse, which, if you watch the show, there's clearly obvious signs of both of those. But that's really neither here nor there. But the fact that she's even discussing this in the aspect of like going to her church to get a release is ridiculous. They're not members of the Apostolic United Brethren, and they haven't been for years. Janelle and the wives don't adhere to any of the rules of this church on the show. They don't follow their standards for anything. So for us to believe that she would go to the church for a release is asinine because it's a storyline. The fact that she thinks she has to do this is sad because she's not following the actual rules of the church. The church put out a standard bearer a couple years ago, which outlines like what the rules are for the church. They're not meeting the requirements for dress and appearance. They're not meeting the requirements for their social media requirements. Like they're not supposed to be on social media. She's not supposed to swear. We've seen them swear all the time, like cursing isn't allowed. Women are supposed to obey and submit to their husbands. I mean, the fact that on the show, she's like, I'm not doing a patriarchy. I'm not doing a patriarchy. It's completely in contrast what the church says. So for instance, this is what they tell ladies. Young ladies, respect and revere yourselves as daughters of God, a holy vessel, an eternal being. You should understand that you are called to sustain and magnify the eternal and sacred role of wife and mother. You should aspire to respect those men who are striving to be worthy of your confidence and affection, worthy to become your savior and head as Christ is head of the church. Prepare and humble yourself to willingly submit to your future husband's law as he exercises it in righteousness. Their church literally tells women their job is to submit. So her idea that like Kody demanding patriarchy is just insane because that's what their church requires. It also says familiarize yourself with the roles and responsibilities of husbands and wives, of fathers and mothers. Embrace your future role and recognize what that God created for you. The roles and responsibilities of men and women are different. The mother holds a position in life that is fully important as fatherhood. She has power to endless increase. You can look forward to the time when you and your spouse will have the opportunity to share never fading crown and internally increasing dominion. Like her job in this cult is only to be a wife and mom and is to submit, literally. She's also told to have an attitude of literally gratitude and just be happy all the time, not to complain. There's requirements for language, what kind of music they can listen to. There's marriage requirements and courtship requirements. There's purity requirements. There's repentance requirements. They're not adhering to any of these requirements, but I just want to point out that she keeps saying that like she didn't sign up for patriarchy. She did. The AUB only allows priesthood to men, and only men can be the head of a house, and priesthood is who governs authority, and Kody is quote unquote the priesthood of their home. And so under their faith, he can be mad at them. That's why all of his rambling nonsense can be justified, because under their rules, men are supreme and it's a patriarchy. This church tells women that their only job is to be a wife and a mother. That's it. And they're supposed to submit to their husband's law. And the fact that she's just saying, now I can't do that, she just doesn't want to follow this religion. So if you don't want to follow this religion, why would you go to the church for for a release? It doesn't make sense. I don't know if she just doesn't understand this or if this is just part of the storyline. There's a lot of things about the show that I don't understand. But if she's going to assign herself to still believing in this church, that concerns me, because this church is this is a bad church. These are bad people, in my opinion. Bad all around. Now, Kody and Robyn, she has some different thoughts. For all intents and purposes, Robyn is actually doing her duty as what a wife is supposed to do in this cult. She is supposed to submit and obey to her husband. But she is also acting as though she can control people. And she got upset because she feels tricked. And I showed you this clip the other day, but I want to just sort of highlight it again and then sort of contrast it against what Kody is telling people or saying about why he won't let them go.
I love Kody, but I never wanted to live monogamy. And it feels like more and more that's where it's kind of headed. And I feel angry. I'm really angry. I wanted to live through marriage. I feel like I'm starting to feel a little tricked or something, or like people are making decisions for my life that I did not choose. It's making me very angry and very depressed.
So Robyn says that she has felt tricked. Like she's starting to feel tricked. Like she wanted to live plural marriage, but somehow that's not what's happened. And people are making decisions for her life without her involvement. And it wasn't her choice. Robyn is actually sounding very selfish here, because part of plural marriage is that you have to submit your will to someone else. And if someone doesn't want to stay, as Kody said, they're supposed to be able to leave whenever they want. And so you can't control what anyone else does. And so she's saying they're affecting her life, but she isn't thinking about how she affected their life. And, you know, I want to just go back to a document. Let's bring up an old document. This one is by Owen Allred, who was the prophet of the AUB for a very long time. And he actually wrote an article. He wrote a letter about the rules of living polygamy or plural marriage. There's a lot of things that Kody did wrong, according to Owen Allred. First of all, he let Janelle be the bookkeeper, and apparently no man should ever have finances, like control the finances. This is what Owen talks about when it comes to finances. Let me set forth a few examples of rules that must be obeyed. The biggest problem in almost every family today involves finances, money that is earned in the family, and how it is used, how it is distributed. Many times a man, thinking he is doing a wife a favor, tells her that he would like her to handle the finances for the family. She considers this to be an honor to her. In some cases, a man has even promised his wife that no matter what happens, he will always allow her to handle the finances in the house or in the family. This is very, very grievous. This is a very, very grievous mistake, and is often a major reason for some unsuccessful marriages. The minute a man turns over the finances to his wife, he lets her handle the checking account, lets her keep track of the bookkeeping. He is lame, putting her in the head of the family in that area. She has the say. So she has the right to agree or disagree and say yes or no to any of the money that is spent. When another wife comes into the family, she becomes subordinate to the wife who handles the finances. No woman should ever handle the finances in a celestial family. This must be solely the responsibility of the man, the head of the family. For no matter how hard a man tries to be just and fair, those who do not handle the finances will always believe that the wife who does handle the finances has priority over them. She uses the funds where she feels they are most needed, while the others have nothing to say about it. He was supposed to, as the head of the household, basically be handling the finances according to his cult, which again is proving that none of this family is following these rules. They're not adhering to the rules of this cult. It also says that he should never discuss private problems between him and a wife with another wife, which he does with Robyn all the time. So it says also a man must never discuss private problems between him and a wife with another wife. You can even go further and say that you should not discuss those private problems with anyone who has no right to know about those problems. Keep them to yourself. A man must not discuss problems with another wife unless both are involved, or unless the wives are involved. If a problem is not the business of the other wives, do not take your problems to another wife. Just don't do it. A man's privacy with his wife is his business and her business. If a woman does not have enough confidence in her husband to know that he will be honest and true with her regardless of where he is or whom he's with, then she will always be worried, unhappy, and disagreeable. Wives are not supposed to tell other wives that they don't trust them. They're not supposed to accuse one another of wrongdoing. They're not supposed to accuse wives of not loving them. And if a husband doesn't show love to a wife, it's actually the wife's problem. This is the most disturbing one. If a husband doesn't show his love to his wife, she should show him more love. If he does not return the love to her, then she should look for the causes and go to him in sweet patience, not accusing him. The minute she accuses, he feels obligated to come up with defenses. When the husband defends himself, that puts her in the wrong and him in the right, which creates a spirit of antagonism. He says that a lot, a spirit of antagonism. And he's also not supposed to allow privileges from one wife that another wife doesn't get, which we've all seen him do with Robyn. They are not following the rules of plural marriage. So Robyn here is acting like she's wanted to live plural marriage, but she's not, because I just told you, she's been dealing with finances. Even though, quote unquote, Janelle said that she was the one dealing with the finances, Robyn was spending the money like it was hers. And that was half the reason why they can't get out on the list. Kody's allowing Robyn access to the money. He's giving preferential treatment to Robyn. He's talking about private matters with Robyn, with the other wives. So no one is actually sticking to these rules. They're not honoring and respecting the rules of this cult, which is that Kody is supposed to be the head. He is supposed to be taking care of the books. He's supposed to be managing the finances. He's supposed to not have unequal relationships. He's supposed to be equal to all, fair to all, And none of the wives should be above any of them. And the problem is that Kody didn't want to be the head. He just wanted to be lazy and just have a harem. And that created half the problems here, according to the cult. Now, I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just going off their rules. I don't agree with any of these rules. I think plural marriage is a crime against humanity, if I'm going to be honest. But Robyn couldn't adhere to these rules. Robyn didn't adhere to the chastity rules and the purity rules of this group. She was not supposed to kiss Kody before marriage. She was supposed to respect her sister wives and treat her relationship with Kody just like she would want them, her sister wives, to be treated. She was not supposed to come in here with selfish motives and only want Kody, but she did. And she had all these expectations and she had all of these demands, which she's not supposed to have according to this cult. Kody just got what he wanted from her, and so he kind of just like threw all of these rules away and just said, I'm gonna like have Robyn. And Robyn never lived plural marriage, and that's what I'm telling you I think Christine means. She never lived plural marriage because they weren't doing any of these things in these rules. They probably were doing it before Robyn came, and then after she came and they went public, it all went to crap. So Robyn has a lot of excuses here. And she's been tricked, but she hasn't been tricked. She's just saying she's been tricked because she wants a way out in the event that things go sideways and that she can go to the church and say, I was fraudulently brought into this marriage. He abused me. She did this with her first husband. She wanted out of the marriage. She wanted a release. And so she told them that David did things to her because that was the only way that she could get a divorce granted through the church. And women will lie to do this, to get out. And she's already setting the stage to do this. Now, Kody, in the end of the episode, there was a clip for next week. He says that he's only staying with the wives so that he doesn't disappoint another wife. Check it out.
It actually has no effect on me. I got one wife that I've got a great relationship with, and I'm afraid if I abandon these women that she'll lose respect for me.
So Kody used to say that he was not allowed to abandon or end a marriage as a part of his culture and as a part of his church. Men are not allowed to do that. And now he is saying that he is afraid to abandon them because of his other wife that loves him and her losing respect for him. So inadvertently, reverse Uno is what he's saying is, I'm just stringing them along so that she won't lose respect for me and so that I won't lose her, because the only reason she's with me is because of plural marriage. And if we don't do plural marriage, she might dump me. So he's trying to put this on Robyn because I'm sure he knows that he is screwed up and they've all screwed up. I don't know what he believes anymore. None of them go to this church anymore. They might want to try to get back into it now that Robyn has control of him. Robyn might be the only one that actually believes in it. But he's trying to put this on Robyn. Like, now I'm only doing this because if I don't, then it's going to make Robyn upset. So then really, you're just torturing these other women and just being a horrible husband to them when they want to leave. And you're promising you'll make it better, but you're only doing like this half-ass way of trying to be better husbands to them. And we're going to see him go on a date with Janelle, which is so weird after all of these conversations, right? But he's already trying to blame Robyn for the reasons why he won't and why he's mistreating them. So I'm only stringing you guys along because of Robyn. I don't want to get divorced because of the kids and because of our faith. I don't actually want to be with you, though. It's the faith's fault that I can't do this. It's Robyn's fault that I can't do this. No responsibility for him. And if you look at the rules of this cult, the men never have to take responsibility. So he has easy way out, no matter which way he looks at this. Robyn is probably keenly aware of this, and so she needs to develop her exit strategy, and that's why she's going to start blaming him and say that he tricked her, because she's going to want to get out if he doesn't continue with being a plural husband. And Janelle's saying that she doesn't know if she wants a divorce is really sad, because, if she doesn't get a divorce and she doesn't claim to be divorced, she'll live single for the rest of her life. That's what their fate is. If you decide not to leave your husband and you remain in a spiritual relationship with them, You just stay single and he can go off and mingle, but you can't ever date again. I hope Janelle can wake up and realize she doesn't have to follow these stupid rules. She doesn't have to get a release, and she can literally find happiness. And I hope Robyn, I don't know, karma. And I hope Kody, honestly, they're going to start turning on each other. That's what's happening. Kody and Robyn are turning on each other. And I have a feeling that we're going to see more of that as this season wears on. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.